What's up, everybody? It's Stephen Martinez. You know who he is. He's Nicholas Gambaro, like the great Robert De Niro once said. You might know who we are. You might not know who we are, but we know who you are. Okay? If you haven't seen the movie Go Goodfellas, go watch that movie. You know that scene. I don't know about though, but you know who we are. Anyway, speaking of knowing who we are, how are you, big dog? How you
I'm
doing, man?
amped, nervous, a lot of emotions heading into tonight. Game 6.
Okay.
You got that right. We got to win. Isles got to win. How are you
Yeah,
doing when your Brownies play tonight?
not feeling good.
And they're allowing 6,000 fans in the stadium. You heard that?
Not a good idea.
To the most senior season ticket holders, they said.
Not a good idea. I'm not in on this. This
I
isn't
agree,
good. I'm not for this. This isn't gooch.
what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that simply because after what I saw, I sent you already with
Yes.
involving the Chiefs and that whole fiasco. By the way, if you haven't read it yet, go check out Bill Shaken of the LA Times. He retweeted the link that some fans that attended the Chiefs game last Thursday night were had tested positive for COVID-19. So you can find that there. But enough of the negative stuff. Big dog. All right. Let's get started with this bad boy. And let me ask you this, because we're sitting with notes. I got everything on here. All right. I got the pen here. I've been working on this for a couple hours now. And here's what I've derived from my notes, from reading stuff, all this. All right. The Braden Point injury feels like the breaking point of this game. If Braden Point plays, I, I think Tampa has a slight edge. Slight. I don't think it's as magnified as we've all been led to believe, but I think it's an edge nonetheless.
The media, is making it seem like, what's up, Elijah? Yeah, like it's like whatever Braden Point, if he's in the lineup or not, like then they base that off of what the result is going to be.
Well, Braden Point is important. Let's not misunderstand his importance. I got some stats here that says that when he's in the lineup, they're 3-0. When he's out of the lineup, they're 0-2. So he's a very big part of what they do. Here's my problem. My problem is we could sit here and say one man makes a difference, and that could be true in most instances. But I have a theory, big dog. Can you hear me out on my theory? Can you hear me out on this theory? If you're the Islanders, right? Tampa's waiting for you to be aggressive, to capitalize on your mistakes, for you to make a wrong move, for you to turn the puck over, for you to do something fancy, for you to act up. They're waiting for that. So what I'm saying is force the game to them, meaning let them be the one that feels the pressure, that has to be aggressive, that wants to shoot more shots. Because I feel like, me personally, that Tampa, they want you to make the mistakes for them. And I feel like if you just lay back and you say to yourself, you know what? We're just going to let them do what they do. And we're just going to play the defensive style we played in game 5. And we're going to capitalize on their mistakes when they make them. Because, look, I understand everybody says play free and easy, and that's a very easy thing to do. That's what you did in parts of game 5. But the one thing I noticed is that your defense wasn't as jumpy in game 5. Your defense had this very calm Okay, we're gonna let
Yes.
Tampa do what they do. We're gonna check them at the blue lines. We're gonna keep everything in the middle of the ice, and we're gonna frustrate Tampa because Tampa wants to get either to the inside of the ice or to the middle of the ice. But you kept pushing them outside towards the boards, making the game a little bit more circular instead of straightforward. They were going more east-west than north-south, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that theory defensively that you have to kind of not dumb it down, but you have to kind of play this forecheck chip and chase style, even with the game tied? I know you like to do chip and chase when you have the lead, but if you can tire Tampa out, where you can
Always
make
chip
them
and chase and be aggressive on the forecheck, on the back check.
right,
They got a lot of block. They blocked a lot of their passes in the middle lanes.
right.
Poke checking, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Isles got to play the way they did in Game 5. Absolutely. And you
Right.
can, because what they want to do, too, they love to screen Varlamov. They love to get guys in front of the net, especially Victor Hedman, because he's a gigantic guy, right? He was trying to get to the net constantly, but Varley here and there would shove him out of the way. That's what you got to do, even if you're a defenseman. Shove him out of the way, push him out of the way. But Hedman, too, at the point, you can't let him get shots off. You got to block his shots. You got to make him want to pass and not shoot the puck. Because he scored in Game 5, and he has a very good shot.
Right.
So you don't want him getting any open space whatsoever.
And this is my thing. This is the thing that I'm paying attention to right now. If I'm Anders Lee, I want to follow what's his name around. Victor Hedman, that's Anders Lee's guy. He has the size, he has the physical capabilities to stay with him. So if I'm Anders Lee, that's my guy. My guy right now is I'm gonna stay with you for as long as you're on the ice. And even if it compromises Anders Lee offensive game, I think that might be the best thing to do because now you see, oh wow, this guy is literally staying with me. He's on the ice when I'm on the ice, and he has the physical capabilities to do so.
You got to do whatever you can for your team. And the other guy, too, to look out for is Nikita Kucherov. Whenever you're on the power play or they just have a lot of ozone time, you need somebody next to him or near him in his vicinity so he feels uncomfortable, like, man, I'm going to have to pass, like I can't shoot. These guys are, they're pestering me, they're bugging me. Like, that's what you got to do, and you got to keep hitting. You got to play physical against them, too. You can't give them no time or space to do anything.
Right. And this is the thing. That necessitates you playing hard. That necessitates you saying, listen, we can't take shifts off. We can't commit stupid penalties. We can't turn the puck over because all those things translate into you having a good or bad game.
Right, and thank God, knock on wood, that penalty that Beauvillier took at the end of the third 4 minutes
didn't come back and bite you, right?
No, we managed to kill the penalty off.
Right.
But those are things you really, really can't do.
And the thing is, they know that. That's the thing. The thing is, if you know that they know, listen, we got to make sure that we are on our P's and Q's. We're not taking any possessions off because Tampa, all it takes is one shot for them to feel like, we got the momentum now. All we got to do is keep doing what we've been doing. And listen, their goalie, Vasilevsky's been unbelievable. So has Varley. So has Varlamov. I'm not taking anything away from both goalies. I thought at some point I was watching Circus Olay the other night. Varley standing on his neck. I'm like, can somebody help him out? Help him out
in that game, man. Because if he wasn't on his game that night, it would have been bad. To
All
say
right. I got a very interesting thing I want to point out in terms of statistics because we got this big thing of stats right here. All right. He got his there. There you go. I got some things I want to point out. Number one, I was reading a stat. I was looking at the stats earlier today, and it's crazy. I kind of want Tampa to outshoot the Islanders if I'm the Islanders. Outshoot us, Tampa. Go ahead. Outshoot us. Because I got a theory. It's like a boxer in a fight. You're going to keep throwing punches. They're going to keep going for the knockout punch. If you're the Islanders, all you have to do, and this is my theory, is let them punch themselves out. Let them tire themselves out. Always running, always feeling like we got to score. We got to score. We got to score. Because when you don't score, what it does is it creates pressure.
right.
Oh, we're not getting shots off now. We don't feel good about ourselves. We don't feel like we can get we're not getting clean looks at the net. And then what happens? And then people start chirping. Is it good? Oh, can we do this? Can we get back into the flow of our offense?
Right.
That's where the Islanders have to play this game of it's a mental thing. It's a game of okay, we have to make them play our game. Because if you're Tampa, you can't afford to lose this game. You can't afford to lose this game. Because if you do, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I see what you're saying, because in hockey that happens sometimes where the team that outshoots you actually doesn't win, and if you have less shots than them, you still have the possibility of winning. I would
Right.
want the Islanders to get more shots or a lot of shots, but you know what? Sometimes that is okay, like you're saying. Tie themselves out, and there's always that one, and that's what happened. That one little moment where the shot
Right.
hit off his shin guard.
Right.
Managed to bank it off the boards to himself, and away they went. So you just
Right.
got to wait for that one opportunity, as Eminem once said, and you take it.
Because listen, like I'm saying, for me, you look at that and the pressure builds. I go back to the Clippers and Nuggets the other night. I know we use a lot of different analogies for different sports, but the Clippers offense they were like, yo, we're not getting good shots. Then they got in their own head because they started feeling like, yo, what's going on with us? Why are we not playing well? And the same thing for Tampa, because as we pointed out numerous times on this show already, since this series started, Tampa's been in the conference final 4 out of the last 6 years. And
Yeah.
I heard from a few people today he might get fired if they don't advance. And I
He was
hate
saying that yesterday, yeah.
somebody lose their job, but that's the talk around the league is if this dude doesn't step up and get us to where we have to be, he very well might lose his job. And that's a very unfortunate circumstance. That is very unfortunate because the guy is a good coach. He's a good coach. And the team is loaded. They're low. They honestly, Big Dog, this is no disrespect to you guys and your boys. And so please don't take it as disrespect. But with as loaded as that team is, they should be in the NHL finals. That's the type of team that they built. But like you said, it comes down to sometimes you start overthinking, you start over preparing, you start over analyzing, and then if you're your boys, you're coming in like, yo, listen, nobody expected us to even be here. So why
No,
we even
that's
gonna
the beauty of hockey. Your team could be loaded, but they could still lose. And if you
right,
play as a cohesive team, and together
right,
you have the right leadership, you could beat
right.
anybody.
And that's the beauty of
So
sports,
that
bro.
they should be in the final, that to me, disrespectful, but you have your opinion. But
No, but I didn't mean it to be disrespectful. I meant it to say that the team's roster itself, they have enough talent that if they so chose to say, you know what, we're gonna turn it on today, or we're gonna put ourselves in prime position, Like, you have to think.
No, I know, but still, it don't matter. Like, to me, that all goes out the window.
And I agree with you. For the most part, you're right.
And
For the
Barry
most part, I
been in
agree.
this position before. Lou, I mentioned the other night with his 2000 Devil team. Came back from 3-1 down against the Flyers, and they ended up winning the whole thing. Barry Trotz led his Capitals back from a 3-2 deficit versus Tampa in 2018.
Right.
So,
right.
And a quote from him, we just got to worry about tonight. If we get tonight, it's a one-game showdown and anything can happen. That's a
right.
quote. It's so true.
They should win. They should have won 2 cups already. I agree with you. They've been in this position. This feels very, all right, football terms. This feels very Buffalo Bills-ish. 4 straight AFC Championship games, Super Bowls. They were close to the top of the mountain, and they haven't been able to scale that mountain yet. If they don't scale the mountain now, this is when you got to think about blowing this whole thing up, because then it becomes, all right, how many kicks at the can do we get before it's like, all right, this ain't working out? Elijah, that's a great point by you, buddy. That's a great point by you. And the unfortunate thing is it's not going to get easier. It's only going to get harder because you got teams like the Islanders. I think the Capitals regroup. I think Philly is hungry. They're looking to get back next year. So if you're Tampa, you have to go now because it's only going to get harder the longer you wait to win a championship.
And the other guys, too, I want to see step up tonight, and they have all playoffs long, are the Islander defensemen. I'd love to see one of them get on the board again. Ryan Pulak scored the other night on that great rocket of a shot on the power play. They finally scored on one. Finally.
It's like the halo. It's like the halo that comes over your head, and it has the ball.
Yeah, like finally. And that's what I want them to do. Like, just pass it to the point.
Right.
Do it.
It's, I don't know we say this ad nauseum, but it's just fundamental hockey. It's fundamentals. It's not hard. And listen, do the Islanders make it harder than it has to be most nights? Yes.
To me, and here's the thing. I see it. I mean, we both analyze it and watch it, but I see it in different ways. But
yes,
I mean, you go way more in depth. I mean, I can too with hockey, but I look at it more simplistic, I guess.
Don't sell yourself short there, guy. Don't do that.
I like when teams play it to the point and they take shots from the point. Now, of course, do you want to take shots from the wings, from the slot, if you have an opening? Of course. But my main objective always in my mind is to get it to the point and take shots and get guys in front, get sticks down on the ice for deflection or screen.
I mean, but it works. That works. How many times have we seen that in games where I'll be watching a hockey game with you and you'll literally jump out of your chair and go, you see what they do? You see? That works. And I'm like, why don't they do it? Why don't they? Listen, it's the most fundamental way to score. It goes off a guy's stick. It goes off a guy's skate. It goes off something. Just put your body in front. It could go off your armpit and go on the net.
Right. To me, it should be 2 passes, then get the third pass to the point and take a shot. Instead of having guys circle around or try and keep passing and then shoot.
Or even if you're on an angle. If you get 2 passes and you're on an angle, one time that thing. One time it hurts.
If you're in one of the face-off circles, exactly, fire that thing. Don't just let me fart around with it.
Don't
shoot it.
Listen, one time it, top shoulder, and that's where I want somebody to be. Top shoulder, one time it, straight, put your puck on it.
Boy department, as Butch Goring would say. Or
there you go.
Shoot it at the guy's pads for a rebound.
And let somebody be streaking down towards the net.
Exactly.
How many times have we said that? And look, and I look at Tampa's power play. Tampa does that on the power play. They get 2 or 3 passes off, shot. 2
Yep.
passes off, shot. And the thing about Tampa is they shoot from anywhere. They're
Yes.
not discriminatory where they take shots from. Because I'll let you in on a little secret, guys. You ready for this? There is no perfect shot.
There isn't.
I know we all look for it. All looking for the perfect shot. Can they get the? I got news
Or
for
even,
you.
and I'll tell you another way to score, and I almost did this in my roller hockey league the other day. The goalie saved it, but whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
One of my teammates was circling behind the net, and I was screaming, "In front! I'm in front!" He passed it to me. I shot it. Like I said, the goalie saved it. But that's another way. But even if you can't find a teammate, I would even think this too. If I'm around and I can't find nobody, I'll just pass it to the, into the crease, because it may, like you said, off a skate,
Right.
a guy's shin pad, and it. Listen,
And you know what?
you can't get the perfect shot to your point.
You can't.
You can't worry about it. You can't think too much.
Right.
You gotta just go for the dirty goal. Sometimes you can't go for the beautiful shot.
See, but that's the misconception too. Like we all look at sports as this pretty. It's pretty. It has to look a certain way. It has to be a certain way. No, that's not necessarily true. Because some of the best sports players, they do it ugly. They don't do it very, very clean. I'll give you the perfect example. Look at a guy like Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller had one of the most hideous jump shots in the history of the world. But Reggie Miller, when it came down to giving you a heart attack, that guy was good for it. And that's why I'm saying there's no such thing as a pretty play or pretty shot or a pretty game. If you're the Islanders, you want to get it dirty. You want to make the Lightning feel
That's the
like,
way we
oh,
want
man.
to play. That's Islander hockey. When Barry and the players say Islander hockey, that's what they mean.
Dirty it up.
Oriented, defensive oriented, and get
Dirty it up.
grind it out type goals in front of the net.
Go. And honestly, on the 2 games they won, I got the game 2 stats right here. They won in the playoff. They won in the face-off department, right? And then in
We
game
actually
2,
lost game 2. We won game 3.
all right. Well, yeah, they won game 3, but they won the face-offs. The Islanders must win the face-offs.
Yes,
You can't let Tampa keep winning face-off, because what happens is they win the face-off, they set up their offense, they feel like, okay, we got a head start because we got the puck, and all we got to do is streaming down the ice now.
And the other thing, too, is, and the analysts that have been doing the Islander games this whole playoff, you can't ice the puck. I mean, of course, icings are going to happen, and if you have to, like if you're really tired, your line that's out, okay, ice it, but really try hard not to, because it could come back to bite you and you know what. If you commit an unnecessary icing, and then that puts more pressure on you.
Right. And look, I love the quote that Barry Trotz gave about Andy Green when he says, if you've been around our group the last 3 months, you would swear he's been here, he's been an Islander for years. If you knew nothing about his background and you came and watched us, you would swear he's been an Islander his whole career.
And he has playoff and Stanley Cup experience. He's been with Lou in New Jersey, so that's one big reason Lou went out and got him. He fits right in this system. He's perfect for it. And so is Patrick. And that's another guy I want to see. I mean, you've seen him do things, but I want to see him score. I think he's really
good. But he has to play with more force. You have to be one of the guys that whenever you're on the ice, he has to pop out to me. Like, there he goes again. There he goes again. There he is again. JG has to be the Energizer Bunny. Make Tampa have to worry about you wherever you are on the ice. Whether you're at the point, whether you're in the slot, whether you're in the dirty area, wherever you are, make them have to worry. This guy's lethal and he could get a shot off from wherever. The guy I'm focusing on tonight is Devon Taves. because I look at Devontae's and I say that guy can skate.
He
He
can.
can skate.
And he could shoot, but he doesn't shoot enough.
But I'm not looking for him to shoot. I'm looking for him to skate because if he can be the trailer or if he can be the leader on a transition goal where he gets one off the boards and then you got somebody like Barzell streaking, you got a 2-on-1, perfect pass because now they're worried about Tazy's speed.
And that's a lot of you got to take advantage of 2-on-1 chances like they did in overtime, double OT.
And you can't whiff. Middle of the ice, you can't whiff. You get to the middle of the ice, you gotta shoot.
Yes.
You gotta shoot. Like you saw what happened when Shattenkirk whiffed. He was in the middle of the ice. He was getting ready to take a shot. He whiffs on it. You get a breakaway, bam. And look, I'm still very leery that we haven't seen Kucherov get on. Like we haven't seen him make an impact in this series yet. So, and that's the guy that I know Tampa wants to get going because they feel like he hasn't had enough chances. They feel like he's disappeared. I feel like very similar to the Capital series where they said the same thing about Ovechkin, where like Ovechkin disappeared. Where's he at? You know what I'm saying? Like this feels very similar to that. And when you get to the point where you're questioning whether your stars are going to play, and there's questions in the locker room or the dressing room, as they call it in hockey. You see that? The dressing room?
There you go.
That's not good because then you got guys looking at you like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be the guy. You're supposed to be the guy that is looking towards winning. Like that's the guy. That's the guy that you want to see make a play. You want to see a guy that is the leader and the heart and soul of your team make a play. And right now, I don't think he's made plays in this series. I know you don't want him to start making plays now.
No.
But I don't feel like he's made a play in this series so far. What do you think about that? You think I'm all basis saying that?
I think he's done things in the series. I mean, he scored that late goal in Game 2 where they won.
Right.
But has he been there a lot making plays? No, but he's still present, I think, and getting shots off. And look, the Islanders, man, they got to aggravate him and hit him a lot. And even force him to make even a dirty play or draw a penalty. Because that's what he did the other day against Pajot. He slashed him in the back of the leg and all hell broke loose. So
but that's what
tendency of getting too aggravated and frustrated, and he'll do something dirty to you.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta muddy up the game. Because stars don't want to be touched. You see it in all sports. LeBron, as big as he is, don't touch me. Brady, as good as he is, don't touch me. It's almost like they don't want to be touched. And the hard part is when you look at all these stars that have great talent, they want as much space, as much room, and they want the free reign to say, I'm going to be a star and make the most out of their attempts. So, like, if you're the Islanders, you have to be all up in his space. Like, you got to make him feel like, damn, can I get some room to breathe? Can I get a breath off? Like, bro, you in my visor, bro. I'm fogging up over here. You know, like, that's what it's going to have to come down to for tonight.
100%.
And I just look, I hope that Devontae's gets going, but I got another one for you. Uncle Leo was gonna be a guy that sets the tone tonight. I think he gets into a fight. He does something to irritate the Lightning. Because Leo Komarov, as old as he is, the guy he's still an irritator. He's still a very good skater, and he's so fundamentally sound that you kind of hope that he doesn't. You want to keep him engaged. And a fight or a goal or a hit or something like that to keep him engaged might be the way you go about doing that.
And Johnny Boychuk, too, I want to see. I think he's going to do something big tonight. He was huge the other night with 2 block shots. I mean, the guy, talk about sacrifice, commitment. Boychuk is that. So,
All right, so we talked about the Braden Point injury and how big that could be, but I want to get some quotes read by a few players. Uh, Nikita Kucherov and wow, so Kucherov is 25. Wow, the points are very equally distributed amongst this group, but I think John Cooper said something interesting before we get to the Braden point, no pun intended. Um, John Cooper on scoring first. That always helps, Cooper said. We haven't had the first goal here in a little bit in the series. We talk about chasing the game. You make another team chase the game, they're behind. It's much more comforting when you're playing with the lead. Is it imperative? No, but it sure is nice to have. It sure is nice to have it from Lightning coach John Cooper, which is what we've been saying here for the last 15 minutes. And you feel like it's imperative. You know what? I'm gonna say this. It's imperative for you guys to score first because
yeah.
then you feel like the Lightning feel like, oh man, we got pressure on us. They're pressuring us. Then you get them a little flustered, and then it becomes a series.
And another guy to watch out for in this series, too, because we both mentioned it after he scored the goal, Jordan Eberle. 3 goals in his first 5 games. He had an 11-game goal drought from August 14th to September 5th. 7 assists during that span, which is still good. But 2 goals this series, and he scored the double OT winner in Game 5. So he got off the schneid, and that's going to boost his confidence massively.
I mean, I hope it does strictly from the standpoint that you hope it allows it. You hope it allows you guys and everybody else around you guys to get going, because all it takes. Listen, fellas, and you know this. Everybody listening knows this. Comment, say what's up to us. Scoring first in these games is huge. It isn't because then you start feeling like because then it could snowball, and you guys are capable of scoring 2, 3, 4 goals at a
We
time.
have done it majority of this postseason.
Now, to be fair, so have they. But I think the problem is that they haven't been able to get out the box. Where you guys have gotten out of the box, you guys have scored early. You've put the pressure on them to score first.
Yep.
So if it's me, I'm like, yo, please. I'm waiting for somebody to make a mistake because I want to see what happens when you have to score first. When it becomes a battle of okay, who blinks first? It's a staring match, and the question is, who blinks first tonight? Is it you? Is it them? What happened here?
Yeah, it makes me feel a lot better, definitely, when the Islanders score first. So it's paramount. It really is in the playoffs.
I mean,
wow. Johnny Boychuk, just going back to him real quick. 5 hits, 6 blocks in the Game 5 win. And he hasn't played before then. The last time he played was August 1st.
Wow. Interesting.
Pretty crazy.
A little bit. I don't know. I mean, this game's going to be good, man. And I'm hoping we get to a Game 7. I know, it's not going to – it's you're hoping for it. It's not going to be a fun experience for you. But I'm darn sure hoping we get there because I'd be all in on that.
This is –
I'd be all in on that.
This is the furthest the Islanders have gotten in my lifetime. So it's definitely exciting. But at the same time, you got to stay – even as a fan, you got to stay even keel, and you can't, got to I like the Barry mentality, game at a time. You can't Can't look that far ahead. If Game 7 happens, then that's when I'll focus on it. But you got to focus on Game 6 tonight.
Speaking of keeping the same approach, Andy Green, in this situation where you have to stay here, New York defenseman Andy Green said, "It's exciting for us. It's a great opportunity. It's a great challenge. Point is a top player in this league. He brings a lot of qualities for their team, a little bit of their engine. For us, when he's out, we got to make sure when he's out there, we got to make sure we know what he can do." That's Andy Green. That's a quote from a story written by Brian Compton, who writes for
Great
Compton
Yep.
for NHL.com. So that I took that and I'm like, wow, that's a very interesting quote. I kind of had to steal that for here. But what do you think about the projected lines for tonight? Because I'm looking at these lines and I'm going, you got Poulat, you got Kucherov, and I can't say Anthony's last name.
Beauvillier.
No, on Tampa.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Something with a C.
Whose name?
That?
Oh, Anthony Cirelli.
You got Alex Killorn, you got Yanni Blake Coleman, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Barclay Goudreau.
Cedric Paquette.
So what do you think about this line? All right. What do you think about Tampa's line? What do you think about the adjustments that you think they might make heading into Game 6 tonight with that line?
I don't think there's not going to be too many changes unless maybe they switch up Cirelli. And Yanni Gourde has been big for them in these playoffs, but Anthony Cirelli is the reason he's on the first line is because he's substituting in for Braden Point if he isn't playing. And Palat and Kucherov, that's a solid line. Goudreau and Paquette and Johnson. See, me, I'd move even Tyler Johnson. I mean, not that I really want to do this, but if I was Tampa Bay, Tyler Johnson on that first line or second line, I think he's a little bit better than a third line winger. But
right. So when you look at the Islanders line now, you got Anders Lee, Matthew Barzal, and Kyle Clutterbuck.
That jumped out at me. That Clutterbuck is on the first line, and he's not with Matt Martin. I guess Barry just wants to give Tampa a different look. Wants Clutterbuck a chance to play with Lee and Barzal. I mean, even though no Cizikas, I'd really like Martin and Clutterbuck to always stay together.
Well, look, I like this line, believe it or not. I like Beauvillier with Brock Nelson, but I kind of want to move.
Can't switch it because that line this whole postseason has been money or mint, as I like to say.
I would move somebody though. I would move Bailey out for Pajot. I would put Pajot.
I could see that. I would even put, and I always wanted this, if I had to move somebody, see, I would have Barzal, Beauvillier, and Eberle on one line together. I would even put Anders Lee with Martin and Clutterbuck on the fourth line. I think that fits and makes more sense, in my opinion.
And it gives the Islanders more physicality.
Like, he makes the lineups, and I'm,
No, but I think those three together create a certain level of physicality. You need physicality.
And get to the net, front of the net. Whereas Beauvillier, Barzy, and Ebbs, all big-time goal scorers and speedy guys, that could work. Or even if you put JG with Beauvillier and Barzal.
You're right. Cat got your tongue there.
You know what I really would want to is Beauvillier, Brassard, and Pajot.
Ooh.
The old French line.
How about this combination? Give me Uncle Leo. I'm putting Uncle Leo with Andy Green and Adam Pellick. And the reason why I'm putting that line together is because I want to see the old guys kind of that physical presence, those two older guys. Andy Green does everything. Him and Uncle Leo, they kind of work in tandem well, I think, because they kind of.
And even though Uncle Leo's a forward, he's a good two-way player. He'll come back on defense. And same with Green. He's a great two-way defenseman. He can score for you, but he could also play stout defense.
But that's why I would want those two together, because they kind of give you that multi-dimensional, we can score, but we can defend as well. We can do both.
There you go.
Now you got to be aware of two different options.
Right.
Who are they going to throw at us? What is the line going to look like? So, listen, Barry made up the lines. Who are we? We're just two bozos on a live stream. We know nothing. I'm just saying. I mean, if I had a preference, and Semyon Varlamov in net, kind of what we all figured.
After that performance, oh man!
After doing he did the proverbial wee.
He did the slide into second base or home plate, whatever reference you want to use.
Yeah,
he didn't get hurt, or I didn't hurt nobody else. Knock on wood.
That guy he didn't face plant with a chin strap when he fell could have.
I can't. I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
All right. There's some controversy in Yankee land. You have some more hockey news, right?
I do, just what I want to run through quickly. But before, and I know they ain't watching, or maybe they are out there. Michael K. Show, All New York Sports Radio. You see what we just did? 42 minutes of Island. I mean, I would talk Islanders for the rest of the show, but I know we got, other topics to discuss. But 40 minutes, right. Listen, that's a solid long time for the Islanders. Take notes, because you should be talking the Islanders way more than 15, 20 minutes.
That's why our show is awesome.
Damn right. Why we're awesome. Like, I love that. 42 minutes Islanders. Let's go.
With notes, baby. With notes. Let's go.
But quickly, any other NHL news and notes? Jim Montgomery named Blues assistant head coach, previously the Stars head coach. Now, if you remember, this going back months ago, he was put on leave due to the comments he made behind the scenes. If you remember, we don't know exactly what he said, but he ended up getting another job. Doug Armstrong named general manager of Arizona. That was a little shocking because he was working for the Blues.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Is it shocking because he's working for St. Louis, or is it shocking that he got the position? Is he qualified to have this position?
Very. I mean, because he came off of a Stanley Cup winning team, and one of the most consistent clubs in the NHL for quite a few years. So Manny Malhotra's name is named Maple Leafs assistant coach. Previously the Canucks assistant coach. He played in the NHL for Montreal, Carolina, Vancouver, San Jose, Colorado, Dallas, and the New York Rangers. And guess why? I'm going to give you a hint. Guess why the Leafs also hired him? Where is he from?
Okay. Toronto.
He's from Mississauga. Also, John Tavares, native of Mississauga. Shouts out to JT. Native of Mississauga, Ontario. But I think it's a solid move. I mean, we'll see. Again, for some reason, they're just staying in the Ontario, Mississauga, Toronto area, hiring guys or bringing in players from the area. But he has NHL experience, assistant coach experience with the Vancouver team that almost went to the
Oh,
conference finals.
right.
Also, Joel Edmondson signs a 4-year contract with Montreal. That was a good move for them. They needed another solid defenseman on the back end. And Sabres acquire Eric Stahl from the Wild for Marcus Johansson today. So that's just someone NHL news and notes for you.
Nice.
So,
Not.
yeah, some
What do you?
drama with Gary Sanchez from what I'm hearing in the Boogie Down Bronx. What do you got?
Yeah. Okay. So, just trying to get the word out there and let them know that we're going to be talking about this. Yes, there is drama in Yankee land. There is drama with Gary Sanchez.
I mean,
Now,
when is it not? Because,
now people think, wow, there's drama with Gary Sanchez. What did he do? What did he say? He did not. He said nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. You know what he's doing wrong? He's not producing. And then here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna see what you think about this. You hate the Yankees, but I think you can give you a fair assessment of this. I'm
Okay.
glad you hate it. I'm glad you hate us, but even you got to be like, okay. In Gary Sanchez has played 30 games so far this season. 31 games. In 31 games, he has a 134 batting average. 134 batting average. He has 8 home runs in his 17 hits. He has 19 runs batted in for the entire year. For the entire year. Oh, and by the way, he has 8 home runs. So we know he got the power stroke. And he already has, I think it was last I checked, he has 6 pass balls this year alone. Okay. Now, Kyle Higashioka is a smaller sample size. He has 36 at bats, 250 batting average, 4 home runs. Small sample size. I'm not going to be a prisoner of that moment. Here's the key, though. Important note. Kyle Higashioka has caught Garrett Cole's last 3 starts. In Garrett Cole's last 3 starts, he's given up 1 run, no runs, and 2 runs. So 3 runs in 3 starts. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has 1 walk, 2 walks. So 4 walks.
Right.
4 walks. So, and this is the thing: 7 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings. He's getting deep into games, and he looked dominant his last 2 starts. So here's the question: the question is, with Gary Sanchez not producing behind the plate, and Cole feeling like he has a personal catcher. Higgy might be his personal catcher. Now, to be fair, when he was in Houston, he also had a personal catcher. Martin Maldonado was his personal catcher during the 2019 playoffs instead of Robinson Chirinos, who caught everybody else. So my question to you is, what do you do if you're the Yankees with Gary Sanchez? Does he even make the postseason roster? I think
He may not, or at least when Garrett Cole pitches, I wouldn't have him catch. From what you're telling me,
right. The stats speak for themselves.
The pitcher and catcher have to have that chemistry.
Right. And then here's the thing, too. David Garcia, the young Yankee phenom who every Yankee fan's in love with, but I'm like, pump the brakes a minute. Let the kid, let him earn his pinstripes before we start anointing him the next coming, or the fur coat, as you like to say, for the youngins. All right. In 2 starts, he's won his first 2 starts. That's good. He's gone 7 innings in his first 2 starts. Eric Kratz has caught both of his starts. Not Gary Sanchez, Eric Kratz. Gary Sanchez's struggles is the reason why there's 3 catches on this roster right now, big dog. 3 catches on the Yankee roster right now. And so I look at it, and Juan brought up a great point yesterday when he said, when do you bench Gary Sanchez? And I had to think about it, but looking at these numbers and reading off these numbers, I'm like, you might have to bench him sooner rather than later. And I know that sounds like hyperbole because the guy came up in 2016 in 53 games. He hit 20 home runs. He lit the world on fire. And I'm like, it's almost like I could hit better than that. It doesn't matter. Mm, no, but you have to at least if you're Aaron Boone, you got to be going to bed at night thinking, how much more can I play this guy? I mean, how much more? How much more can I legitimately look at my players and look at the locker room and play him? Like I don't know. I don't know, but listen, and if Garrett Cole is if he feels good with um yeah, man, but I'm still kind of like, we'll see what happens because they could look scary now, but in the postseason they get allergic to hitting good pitching. So I'll have this conversation again with you in 10 days. Because to me, James, like I've said numerous times before, it's about hitting in October, which they haven't done for the most part in 17 or 18 and in parts of 19. Now, does it help that Garrett Cole's on your side and not in Houston with Justin Verlander? Sure. But you still got to hit good pitching, and they haven't done it yet. So this is my key. My key is right now, you give Gary Sanchez the next 10 games. You let him figure out whatever it is that is bugging him. If he can't figure it out, I'm sorry, but I got to do what they did to Adam Ottavino last year. Adam Ottavino didn't make the first round of the postseason roster. They put him on in the
Staten
CS.
Island kid.
Yeah, he was that bad last year towards the end of the regular season. His ERA was almost like 4.5. So
That's really
it's bad. Yeah. So I'm looking at it. I'm going as much hope and optimism as we have for Gary Sanchez. Like when do you lose faith in Gary Sanchez? And people are like, oh, that's a bit crazy. You can't do that yet. I mean, he's still young. The swing is still pretty. Yes, the swing is pretty, but how long can you afford to wait? They're walking a very tightrope with that. Now they're winning games, so it seems like it's not that big of a deal. But when you got your ace, Garrett Cole going, I don't want to throw to this guy, that's not good. And Garrett's been politically correct because there's a quote in here from him that says, I enjoy throwing to both guys. For me, it's not that big of an issue. I would be fine throwing to either or if I had to choose. So that right there is a question that I think he pretty much answered all the questions. And I think it's very interesting that, finally they feel like, okay, Gary can work his way out of this. And he still might, but we'll see. Kay doesn't seem to like the play, keeping them. You know what? I have thoughts on the playoff format, but I don't want to be here all year.
Keep it like this. I know baseball purists hate it, but I think it's more entertaining.
You know why they're going to keep it like this? More money.
Right. Why wouldn't you?
More money.
And if you go back, they are going back to 162. I just always thought, and I told you this, Emilio and Rick, that you play 162 regular season games, but you only end up with 14. Like, the playoffs are so short. Like, for baseball fans, I'm sure you guys want to enjoy it and make it last long.
Right.
That's two, again, shorten the season. They'll never do it. But I'm not saying 60 games, but like you said, like 100 or 90 games, and then elongate the playoffs more.
Here's something they might do. They were talking about shortening the season to 156 games, where each team loses a homestand at the end of the year, and putting the wild card round in the place of the last 6 regular season games. But what I would do is screw that. Go down to 144 games, because 144 games, if you do the math, 144 games, you could still have the season doesn't have to start early in crazy inclement weather where you're freezing your rear end off.
And
Do it so that get
and the wild card game is bogus. You've been saying that for like it's ridiculous. Like a 90-something win team, and you could be out in one game.
in like 3 hours, your season's done.
Make it a best of 3 at least.
And listen, whoever gets the better record, they're the home team.
They for the whole 3 games, yeah.
They're the home team, so that it's first of all, because now you know what this does. This desensitizes winning the division, because you figure 8 teams make it. Doesn't matter who wins the division. How about this? How about the 2 teams that win the division automatically get a bye? You get around. You get
like football.
off. Yeah, you get off. And
I wouldn't do it like that, but it's an idea.
Hey, you got to do something to keep the division winners invested, because if you win a division and you know what I mean. And then I'm sorry, but I read something in the Athletic last night. So we're gonna do a selection show. What is this, college football? What are we picking our opponents now?
I hate that in college. Like it's so rigged. In my opinion, it's ridiculous.
It's garbage. It's garbage. So we're picking our opponents now. What is this? What are we in gimmick school? What? And do you know the bulletin board fodder that you create if a team picks your team because they think they could beat you? I'm
very upset though. No Doc Emmerich tonight on the call.
No. Who is it?
John Forsland. And Pierre Maguire, who I like, but I don't like John Forsland.
Damn it.
That call by Doc 5 epic.
I know. You wept a little.
I'm running around my room like a psycho.
I know. Yo, we gotta get a surveillance camera in there. If anybody knows how to install a surveillance camera, so when this guy goes psycho and have it on the show, have the shows the Twitter connected to Big Dog Room. Judge Sanchez, and we don't know what to do with themselves. They aren't fluid. Look. Judge, but Judge has had postseason moments though, where he's hit big home runs and he's done things in the postseason. Like the only thing I can think of that Gary Sanchez has ever done in the playoffs is hit the double against Houston in Game 4. That was the only thing he's done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got Big Dog. You got 5 teams in the national. You got like 3 teams in the National League right now that are under 500. You guys are still in this thing, and you're 5 games under.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Yo, we can't be doing this. Because then you want to talk about cheapening the sport, and you were a fan. You hated this playoff format. I'm sure you love it now because your boys are, in the conference finals, but you hated this hockey format. Like, it was too many teams when they first thought about this, and they brought how many teams did they bring? 24?
I ended up loving it though, and it makes sense. I mean, especially that first week, you had 6 hockey games a day. I was in my glory. I mean, I teared up a little bit.
Oh, here we go. Oh no, I don't like it because I think it cheap. Like it hurts the division winners. Like the teams that win the division, they need to be.
I think 8 teams is good if the season was longer. If there were more regular season games.
8 teams are good. How about this? How about we just listen, what I would do honestly is just make the wild card round in each league the best of 3 or the best of 5. That's it. Don't add any more teams. Don't do any of this gimmick garbage. It's garbage. Oh, but you keep more fan bases involved. I get it. And there's more money involved. I get it, which is why they're going to do this. And then they're going to make the World Series now where you're not playing in front of your home fans. Now they're going to put it at an alternate site where people can Varlamov leads the Isles out on the ice for Game 6 off the staple of the epoch. Listen, I understand it's going to make more money. Here's my problem, too. The World Series is going to be a neutral site thing. You watch. They're going to put the World Series in a neutral site, warm weather, Los Angeles, Arizona, Florida.
You think from now on, like
Yes.
the Super Bowl?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Hate it, but they're going to do it because it means no rainouts. You can get your television money. Everybody's happy.
You won't have that Game 7 drama like in 2016. We'll never see a World Series game like that ever again.
This guy was you were at my house till like 1 a.m, bro. 1 a.m, he was at the house.
Leave until it ended. That's how
and you hate
baseball. The game.
And you went into it, and this guy hates baseball. So just think about it. He hates my sport, and he was like, "Yo, I don't want to go home." Like you lose something, and I'm sorry, but I know we want to get it off we want to get it all for the television executives. I understand that, but like, there's nothing like a World Series game in a place where you've been all year. Like the World Series game at Citi Field you went to, it was probably nuts. It
was great.
It was not, and then you're gonna say, "Yeah, man, we'll get rid of all that."
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
Who's going to these games? Dudes with rich suits, rich dudes that don't have they have nothing invested. Like, what about the fan bases that are into it, that invest watching 6 months of baseball to say we're taking your whole reason of watching the games, like playing in going to postseason games for a fan base is what you live off of. Bro, can you imagine? Think about this. Can you imagine, bro? Can you imagine the White Sox fans going to guaranteed rate watching the White Sox in the playoffs? They clinched the playoff spot today for the first time in 12 years. Can you imagine White Sox fans?
Wow.
Yo, can you imagine Cub fans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get rid of it. Okay. I'll play along.
I'm thinking about tonight. It would have been this Game 6 would have been in the Coliseum.
Oh my!
I can only imagine what that would have been like with fans.
You would have lost your mind. This guy would have. And I know you would have paid an arm, a leg, your liver.
Yeah, I don't care.
You'd have paid everything to be in there. I don't care. What it cost me? So what?
Support my boys. Absolutely.
What? You see Big Dog in the cut like
that building. I might lose my hearing for a few hours after the fact. Cause
all right, this is concerning. No pellet for the Owls in warm-up. We now pause for a moment of silence as Big Dog is contemplating his thoughts. As he's looking up in the sky and he has thoughts, and I want to know what they are. Talk to us, Big Dog. We're all here for you.
I'm just thinking because.
Oh, Cincinnati. Oh, my God.
First of all, I hope he's okay. But second of all, I mean, he's been our best defenseman all season. And him coming back to being in the bubble, this postseason run has been one of the biggest reasons, I think, why we've made it this far. I'm trying, Elijah, but the guy's played the most minutes out of any defenseman this year. I mean, if you've been watching the Islanders, he's been doing amazing things. That's concerning.
I'm sorry, Razor. Hold on. Speaking of too many teams, the Astros are holding down a wild card spot with an average of 490. Bro, that's what I'm saying. That right there is what I'm saying. So think about this for a second. You have the Astros are playing under 500 ball, and they're in the playoff conversation. What is that? What is that? What that's anyway. Yeah, the Pellick injury's big. The Pellick injury's big. If he's injured, who knows? All Arthur said was no Pellick in warm-ups for the Islanders. So hopefully it's just that he had to go take a last minute leak and he comes skating on because
I mean, it happens. Gotta go. You gotta go.
listen, you heard about Chapman the other night.
No, I didn't.
He ran off the mound because he almost took a crap in his drawers.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Boone had to go check on him on the mound. He was like, "Yo, you all right?" He's like, "No, I almost took a crap in my drawers."
Diarrhea.
Yeah. He had what we call the bubble guts. They would do
Never a good sign. You don't want to be pitching motion, move the wrong way, and
yeah,
shortage. All right, I gotta look. Braden Point is taking the warm up. It is what it is.
I mean, that's not good though. Either way, that's really not good.
But look at these stats with Pellick, 38 game record, 25-10-3. Without Pellick, 10-13-7. Goals allowed per game. With Pellick, only 2.61. Without Pellick, 3.03.
That's a big loss for you guys. If he's out, if I'm just waiting to see what it is. And the thing is, here's the frustrating thing. You guys, he was just starting to get back rolling. He was just starting to feel like he was getting back rolling.
Yeah.
All right, here's an interesting question I got for you. So the Mets come back and win last night, right? And yeah, they're losing tonight. But with the Philly bullpen the way it is, like, it sucks to say this if you're a Philly fan and you support the Phillies. I'm sorry, Kayla, but that bullpen gotta make you want to drink. They have more blown leads than saves as a collective group. They have 11 blown leads this year and 9 saves. They've been that bad. It just listen. If the Phillies had a bullpen, they'd be in first place, which is why I think. Yo, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but mathematically, you guys have to win a shite ton of games, but that's another thing too. That's a great point by you, Razor. Absolutely. You hope it's nothing serious and that it doesn't turn into anything serious because could be. Chapman bubble guts on the mound versus that pit.
That's nice.
Phillies just went back to back to back on Lugo. Yeah, but they got to close the game in the ninth inning though, and they haven't been able to do that. So that back to back to back is nice, but you got to be able to close the game. So here's an interesting little tidbit for you. I was saving this fight.
Okay.
In hockey, teams now 3-2. Come back more in hockey than any other sport. In basketball, it's less than 20% of the time. In the NHL, it's about 27% of the time. Teams down 3-2. All right, we got a tweet from Audie.
Yep. Oh, look at you getting all the Islander updates.
The tweet from Audie says, "Isles and warm-ups per." I can't even say the guy's name. Anyway, Lee, Barzal, Clutterbuck, Bo, Nelson, Bailey, Martin, Pajot, Eberle, Komarov, Broussard, Green, Pollock, Taves, Mayfield, Letty, Boydchuk, Dobson.
Okay.
So
Dobson's experience, but Dobson's solid.
So Dobson's in there for Pellick, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even gonna be a series. That's why we're not even addressing. I'm not even addressing you because I want to do that when your brother's on the line, so y'all guys can both go at each other on the air. So I'm gonna leave your Laker comment alone for a second until we talk to your brother AJ, because I want that Laker Nugget hate right now. I want the hate. I want that hate. So,
and if you'd let me there, lad, because I know we're going to sign off in a few minutes.
Yes,
I have a few soccer points I want to run through.
Make all the points you like,
if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, so White Sox and Dodgers officially clinched postseason points really quickly.
I mean, we knew the Dodgers. Forget about it.
And Masai Ujiri, the Raptors president, has yet to sign an extension with the team.
Uh-oh.
So just keep that in mind, though, first.
I'm just kidding. Imagine.
God doesn't love us that much. God does not love us that much. We're the Knicks, for crying out loud. It's the Knicks. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't give me false sense of hope that I know would never happen. What's wrong with you? I'm not optimistic like you. Bryce will bring a championship to every other. Stop. Oh, my God. Yo, Rick, you savage, bro. Yo. All right, real quick, run through your soccer notes. I'm sorry I cut you off.
All good. From The Guardian, which is a British newspaper, the Welsh...
If there's any food references in here...
No.
All right, go ahead.
I'm very excited as a Tottenham fan. The Welshman Gareth Bale, one of the best players in the world, actually used to play for Spurs years back, is set to join Tottenham on loan after 7 years at Real Madrid. But instead of sadness, there is only relief, was a caption from that article. Also on Sky Sports News Twitter page, Gareth Bale will fly to London from Spain on Friday, so tomorrow, before completing a move to Tottenham from Real Madrid, having completed a medical in Madrid.
You hear that? He said that was a flavor, Real Madrid. He said that with his chest. You hear Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, Barcelona.
He said that with his chest piece. I felt that in my soul.
But for Tottenham's lineup, this is huge. And I think him, and I brought this up on the show a while back when we were talking a lot of soccer that day. And I mentioned Bale because he never felt appreciated at Real. And he, there's just a lot of drama and anger between front office, the manager, and him.
All
So I
right.
think for both sides splitting, I think it's better off.
Okay.
And Bale coming already into a Tottenham lineup that is solid, that's really talented, but
Mhm.
they lost their home opener, which is very disappointing. And not a
Right.
great season last year. This is only going to help bringing in a world-class talent like Gareth Bale. And one more thing, Luis Suarez passed. This was interesting. Thank you, Prescott. I tried, I tried. Real Madrid.
Okay.
Luis Suarez or Suarez. If
You hear that? He's saying that with his chest. You saying that with some flavor.
Luis Suarez.
We about to get some. We about to get him some arroz con andula and chicken cutlet, kid.
Passed his Italian language exam to help him with his Juventus move at Gaza, which is an Italian sports paper over there. But Edin Dzeko, another superstar talent, is also set to join Juve after Roma made a move for Milik Di Marzio. Was the reporter. Spurs still need help. We do, but Bale is huge. I mean, with Harry Kane, Bergwijn.
All right, so let me ask you a question. What is the equivalent? Give me a sports equivalent. What does this?
Oh my God!
Help me out a little bit.
Gareth Bale.
What does it mean?
A top superstar talent. Jose needs to go. And it's funny, a lot of Spurs fans said that at first, and that thought came to my head because it's funny. And I wonder, I know we're going to have to go shortly, but I want your input on this because I'm curious. Because as much as, like, part of me is like, man, this guy creates so much drama, and it's just not really a great atmosphere when this guy's in the room, but he wins, though. Harry Kane does get hurt a lot. As long as he stays healthy, Tottenham's a top team. But Jose Mourinho had success. I mean, he's won titles everywhere he's went. But then there always ends up being drama, and there's just conflict between him and the front office or him and his players. Right. I mean, in an American sense, can you think of anyone like that? Like, so much success at first, but then after a while, it just goes all down the toilet. And a lot of drama is created. Because I thought, you know what, there might be drama, but this guy's a winner. Maybe he could bring us, some chips.
I'm gonna go back a ways, but that reminds me of Billy Martin in the mid '70s, early '80s. Everywhere he went, they won. But whenever it ended in a car. It ended in a wreck, literally. Him and Reggie almost getting into fights, and him fighting in Texas with the owner. And that's almost is like that with Billy Martin. Billy Martin was a great baseball mind, but he was a nut job off the field.
I've heard stories.
Yo, bro. Nah, yeah, player-wise.
But a coach or a manager in baseball, I mean, football coach, basketball coach, trying to think of hockey. I mean, I guess Tortorella only
Tortorella?
What's that?
I was going to say Tortorella.
I thought that too. I mean, he's only won one cup. I mean, but he has made deep runs and usually has success with teams.
We'll see. You're right.
Billy Martin's a good one.
Yeah, because Billy Martin was a nut job.
UBS Arena, the roof's going up. It's looking good.
Look at that. Anyway, man, we're gonna let you go so you can get locked in and settled in. And
This was fun. Oh God, we didn't
Yo.
even. But you know what? I'm glad because I thought we were gonna get into it, but I can't be aggravated. I gotta be focused on my Islanders tonight. The
What?
stupid idiotic Chris Johnson comments about Adam Gase and all that Jets garbage.
Wait a minute! Wait! Whoa! You brought it up. We can't leave it unattended now.
No, I mean, listen, it's almost 8 o'clock. I mean,
Well, listen. I need 3 minutes of input. Look. What is wrong with him? What is wrong with him? Can
you want
somebody
me to tell you? What's wrong?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
incompetent. They're stupid. They don't know what they're doing. Uh-oh. Go Cincinnati. Oh, yeah, we need a Browns-Bengals score, of course, before we sign off tonight.
You gotta do this to me, man. You gotta do this.
I mean, you're the resident Browns fan. We needed a score.
I'm going 21-20 Bengals. Joe Burrow throws a touchdown.
Oh! No! So your Browns lose?
You kidding me? Did you watch the same football
I
team
think they're
watched on
losing
Sunday?
too. I got Bengals winning 17-14, last minute field goal to win it.
Look, I gotta bring up the Jets.
I'm yelling right now.
Can I get a last minute? What is wrong with Pete? What is wrong with him? There's nothing wrong with us. Everything's all good.
Me, you, and James have watched this already. What Mike Greenberg said today on Get Up.
Oh,
Mike Greenberg, I love you, man. I love you. Like that guy. What he said about Adam Gase and the Jets. I mean, poignant, perfect. I mean, you gotta look it up on Facebook or Twitter, YouTube.
Right.
And he was totally right. That Adam Gase is not an offensive mind. And the fact that Chris Johnson, I mean, like, you praise Adam Gase.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Nah, I need some sort of
How?
opinion on this.
There's no way. How on earth can you go public and say that garbage?
Yeah, right.
That, oh no, it's a process. I'm not putting a time on Gase. Like, we love him. He's this offensive guy, and he's going to be great. Oh, my God almighty. Like, I really don't understand. Am I surprised? No, because the Jets are dumb like that, and their owners will say stupid stuff.
So, as the kids say...
As I'm sure James isn't surprised either, because he's heard it all, too, as a Jet fan. I mean, it's typical Jets.
I'll play along. I'll watch this horror show as it continues to take shape. But I just feel bad for the kid. I feel bad for Sam Darnold. I feel bad for Le'Veon. Yo, how does Le'Veon feel after signing that?
Yo, those stats he put out. Yo, Bell was like, at the time, the best running back right in the league we would consider. And now he's the worst. Look at his stats.
Yeah.
How do you not use Le'Veon Bell? I bet you didn't want him, the goddamn Jets. I love that line. Remember in Big Day when they're in the bar watching Monday Night Football and the waitress goes, "Who do you want to win?" The kid goes, "The goddamn Jets." Oh, I love that movie.
Anyway,
Jet fans line, the goddamn Jets. Adam Sink, a big psycho Jet fan. He's got to be losing it.
Oh, I think all Jet fans in unison.
He's a Jet and a Knick fan. Can you?
Yo, and on that note, we gotta go. because I can't get any more depressed than I just was right now. Anyway, good luck tonight, man.
Thank you, man. Let's go Islanders tonight. Let's go.
Hit me up if you need me. I'm here. I'm gonna try not to disturb you. I'm gonna be in the middle of my own.
Pray for me, I'm
gonna be in the middle.
Even if you're not a hockey fan, it's gonna be a good game tonight.
Well, I'm gonna be in the middle of my own heart attack, but hopefully mine isn't as bad as yours.
Yeah, you might be shutting that off early, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, the way they looked on Sunday, you might not be wrong. Anyway, yo, big dog, love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Later.
Later.